I think people are just hating on drilling a lot because of the eco stuff.
Hmm.
However, there's a smart way to drill. Literally, if you look at high level wrestling and you just see the reactions they're giving, you just apply that to guard passing or leg locks or
Right.
submissions or sweeps. Just apply that, and that's actually good drilling. I don't think you like static drilling is not drilling to me. That's just nothing. It's nothing
Yeah.
at all. There's a way to drill. There's a way to drill, and I think the better you are at jiu-jitsu, the more you can get out of drilling.
What's the most efficient path to victory against this particular opponent?
He's dropping off for the choke here. We could see the finish. It's looking tight. Tight at Alpra.
Hey guys, welcome to the Everyday Jiu-Jitsu Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kwan. The Everyday Jiu-Jitsu Podcast is everything you need to know about jiu-jitsu. Today I have with me a very well-known grappler in the current jiu-jitsu meta. We have IBJJF No Gi Pan champ, Enigma Invitational champ, Sapateiro, and also a No Gi American Nationals champ, Max Hanson. Welcome to the show, Max.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Should be fun.
For sure. Guys, if you want to support the show, please check out the links in the bottom. All your support is appreciated. So, Max, I wanted to discuss leg locks with you because you are, known for getting quite a few leg locks in competition. If you look at the stats that you have for finishes in jiu-jitsu, the majority of them come by inside heel hook. And I've been kind of watching some of your old matches, and yeah, you're very, very tricky guard, very good at inverting. First thing I'll just ask you is, now that you're going to like ADCC and in the recent competitions, you've been standing up a little bit more, and people are making comments about your wrestling. How does it, how have you transitioned from like someone who pulls guard and enters legs to somebody who stands and wrestles?
Honestly, so when I first got to America, like leg locks were just something like that I kind of just did a little bit. I honestly, back when I was training in the gi and competing in the gi, my favorite thing was to get on top and pass because it was so easy to wrestle up from the gi. Like the grips you could make, you could like wrap a lapel around a leg and stand up, and buddy's going down for sure. So for me, like transitioning to wrestling was like I was never like the best like open shot wrestler, but I always kind of like getting on top. So it was kind of like an easy transition thing because I only really learned the leg locks when I first got here, so that people wouldn't break my leg in competition. Because when I first competed as like a brown belt and stuff, when I was really starting to like try to up my competition rate, like usually the only time I ever lost was if someone was a little bit better than me in the legs. I would find I would have all the success, and then I'd fight like a pure leg locker, and they'd tap me in like 30 seconds, and I was like, bro, what's going on? So I had to like
Yeah.
figure it. I basically kind of only did that just to get the defense good. So going back into the wrestling and the top pressure, honestly, I like it a lot more. I feel like you're dominating a person more if you're getting on top of them and passing their guard, more so than if you like trick them into like a leg lock position. Sometimes a leg lock finish is almost kind of cheesy. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to like downplay those victories, but if I see someone, if like when I look at like the goats, like if they can like take you down, pass you to mount, finish you from mount or the back, like that's pure domination in my eyes. Whereas leg locks are like, you know what I mean? Like you just kind of snatch them up and then that's it. Like sometimes you catch the guy, sometimes you don't catch them. Whereas if you're getting
Hmm.
on top, taking them down, and just kind of, am I allowed to swear? Can I swear or
Oh
no?
fuck yeah, you can say
Okay,
anything.
okay. But if you're fucking them up, dude, if you're fucking them up like that and dominating, that's like a true victory. So I've been enjoying the wrestling a lot for sure, especially being in Ohio, dude. Oh my god, wrestlers everywhere.
Yeah, like you're a Canadian just like me. And so when you had moved to the States, you had said that you didn't really have a big leg lock game and you were training more in the gi at that time when you were transitioning.
Yeah, dude.
Couple of questions there. Do you still train in the gi? Because I know at ADAMAS with you train with Dante now. Like he's also training in the gi. He's a gi
No,
player as well.
no,
No,
no, no.
he's done
Well,
with the gi.
he was like Dante was like the best in the gi from at the colored belts. Like he won worlds at from white to brown belt, and I think it was like after COVID, we all basically transitioned fully to no gi. because that's just where the money is. So he doesn't train the gi at all. I think I've
Is
seen
there
him in
sorry,
there.
does he teach gi classes like from a
No
business
way.
point of view?
Oh well, he doesn't. That we don't like. Honestly, we're starting to like slowly getting like more and more no gi classes. Like I teach one gi class a week. I'll teach the kids gi and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's
That's what
just
I was
'cause-
wondering
yeah,
cuz I
yeah,
own a gym too, and like, there is still like a customer base that is interested in the gi. And of course, kids, I
for
think
sure.
gi is good for kids too, right?
It's easier to teach them the guard, in my opinion, with the gi. Like when I try to see kids work the guard no gi, it's like without the grips, man. They don't have like a lot of them don't have the motor function to kind of understand like a lot of the sweeps and stuff unless they have something to grab onto. But
So
I don't know, from a
yeah,
business standpoint, I was talking to buddy, do you know Micah Brayfield?
of course, yeah. I've trained with Micah. I've competed with Micah before.
Bro, he's telling me, dude, he has a crazy number of students, bro. Crazy
I
number of
know.
students. And it's
I
all
just
no-gi, bro. It's all
I just
no-gi. I was
spoke
just
with
like,
him.
what?
I spoke with him a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude! Good job!"
Yeah, dude, he's balling, bro. I was balling. I was like, this is awesome. This
Shout
is
out to
so...
Micah Brakefield, 10th Planet, Toronto, or Etobicoke, whatever. I've never been
Yeah,
there, but
Tobacco. He's a nice guy, man. Yeah, but he was telling me, so I was thinking, like, I don't like, I think there's a misconception where you're like, oh, you gotta do like the gi, yeah, for a business standpoint. I'm finding more and more students enjoy no gi more. Like,
I agree.
it's not as hard on the body, bro. Like the gi kind of fucks you up, bro.
It absolutely does. I don't know what it is. You still get like these these older guys who like really want to do gi. Like I've
It's
asked
always the
guys,
older
all right,
guys.
it's always the older guys, right?
Yeah.
And the kids. And but the majority of people, like the competitors and the guys that are like in their teen years to, early adult years, they all want to do no-gi now. And I considered making my school just purely no-gi. Um but you know what? Like at the end of the day, I still enjoy the gi, and I don't really compete well in the gi compared to no gi, but as from a business standpoint, I feel like I do want to satisfy those customers that do want to be a part of that demographic.
That's the thing. You don't want to kind of leave them out.
Yeah, I've had guys that told me like they need gi and they'll basically leave if I get rid of all gi classes. I'm like, fuck. Um, it's funny you're talking about like gi misconceptions, but one thing you mentioned is that kids, it's easier to teach them guard if you put a gi on them, because they can
Yeah.
grab something. So there is a misconception that gi and no gi don't necessarily correlate or help each other in jiu-jitsu, obviously. So
Oh, they do.
do you think that gi helps like
So,
no gi and vice versa?
it depends, bro. Like, basically, I didn't train gi for a while. I wasn't teaching. I was teaching like all no gi classes. Then recently, I took over a gi class, and it had been like, bro, it'd been a bit since I put a gi on and roll. Like, I think it was a year at that point. And I would just say the biggest difference is like, not when I pass in the gi now, just from practicing passing and no gi so much, dude. I feel like I feel so heavy, bro, because
Yeah,
everything's so slippery and it's so easy to escape guard passes in no gi.
of
In
course.
gi, I feel like I don't even have to move. Like I'm just like I feel like a statue on people. So I think no gi would help out gi passing a little bit, and it depends with the guard. It depends with the guard. Whenever I fought like good gi guard players who transition to no gi, I found their guards are very very. They're honestly better than no gi guys, just pure no gi guys, and I think it has to do with like the reliance on the De La Hiva and learning how to invert and be like flexible in these positions. Whereas no
Mhm.
gi, a lot of guys now they just focus, they really only focus on getting the legs inside, getting like single leg X, like butterfly guard, stuff like this, where you don't really need a lot of flexibility. So these gi guys, I think it teaches you like you kind of have to be flexible to work that De La Hiva stuff and like a lot of inversions. So I
Mhm.
think if you're working like that kind of guard in the gi, that can help you for no gi, for sure. But if you're doing shit like lapel and worm guard, that's totally useless. I think that's all.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, I don't think you should even. Yeah, honestly, if I was to compete in the gi again, I would never even try. I wouldn't even try to. I wouldn't want to fight like this, man. I wouldn't be trying to like wrap people up. I'd be trying to like take the back traditionally,
Yeah.
not just. I don't know. I'm a big hater on the worm guard. It's just a weird
Lapel and
kind of
pray.
thing. Yeah, dude, I
Yeah,
think it should be banned from the sport because it's honestly, dude, you see guys sit in 50-50 and then wrap a
yeah.
lapel around the trap leg in 50-50, bro. What are we
It's just
doing?
a battle of who can
That
stand up, basically, at that
you
point.
and you can't even stand up. Like, you just tied yourself. You basically score an advantage and then you tie yourself to the other person. Like, brother,
Hmm.
what the hell? Like, you're. I don't know, man. The athletes put their bodies through crazy amount of like damage, and you're training so much, and you have all these sacrifices, and that's how you want to fight, bro.
Nah, I
Really?
know
You give up
it's true.
everything just to fight like that? I don't know. It's crazy to me.
I've also had matches where like I'm not a big worm player either. I love lapel wrestle ups, so like wrestling up from a half guard with a lapel or
Yeah,
something
that's
like that.
legit. That's
Yeah,
legit.
but there can be action there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
some of these lapel guards, it's hard to make action. But so I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I've used lapels and they've like totally saved my ass. So uh, I can't fully shit on it. I think it is part of the game. I've even wondered like how would they take the lapels out of the game in a way that would make it fair and still like express the gi and allow the players to play, but still have still initiate action. Like I don't know, maybe
Well, in
heavily penalize it or.
wrestling, you got like stalemate rules, man. So I don't think it should be too hard to figure out if a position's a stalemate or
Hmm.
not, and we can just
Hmm.
reset. Like, fuck it. Who cares? Like, why are
Yeah,
we sitting in the same position for 10 minutes?
yeah. Will you ever compete in the gi again, or are you just like, no, I'm done?
Maybe. I mean, last year. I mean, I've had a. Last year I competed in the gi. I didn't train, but I competed in the gi. It was like $1,000 like thing, and I ended up winning by a leg lock. But I did not train in the gi for that. I just kind of threw it on and said fuck it. And then I did it before. Also, I did like one of those another cash bracket. Ended up winning in the gi too. But they let you reap. It was like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna reap you in the gi, and you're never gonna escape the leg lock.
That
That was
did they
actually
allow you to heel hook?
no heel hook, but you could reap them, so it didn't.
Yeah.
Bro, they just
I
get
mean,
stuck.
I think the no reaping in the gi is like it's kind of silly because I think that that's kind of an old way of thinking where
Yeah, it's an
guys
arbitrary
weren't
rule for sure.
guys didn't know any leg locks back in the day, and they just made this thing up about how reaping is so dangerous. It's actually not that dangerous if you just don't turn into the reap, and it's
Yeah,
totally effective. And it totally changes the way guard would be played in the gi if they allowed reap. Like if you can reap your partner's leg, that changes a lot of different things. So, man, I would love to see reaping in the gi, and that would really like change the landscape of what guard looks like and what ashi looks like if we started allowing reaps in the gi. I mean, you don't have to allow heel hooks, even though I think you should at black belt level. I think heel hooks should be
they
allowed.
did a gi tournament with some good black belts that had heel hooks in the gi, and like the matches ended in like a minute each. It was kind of funny actually. Like they
Mhm.
they like literally couldn't defend it at all. I will say it would
Because they didn't know
definitely.
how, or because the gi stopped them from defending it.
Yeah, basically they couldn't pummel their legs out or get any rotational escape because there's so much friction. But like one, remember one, I forget what event this was, bro. Forget. It was actually like a legitimate. It was like legit black belt competitors, and this one girl was like, she was like defending it by like holding onto the girl's collar for a bit. So that was kind of
Yeah,
interesting. But it was like, it definitely harder to defend. It's way harder to defend because you can't just pummel the legs is easier, and you can't
yeah.
definitely can't do any turning escapes. That would
I
just you
th-
just get caught up.
I think instead of like clearing your leg in that type, like I haven't done a lot of heel hooks in the gi. Um, there is a local tournament here in BC that does allow that called All vs All. But I would imagine like if I was going into a gi tournament where heel hooks and reaps are legal, I probably wouldn't necessarily try my conventional like clear the knee line type escapes. Be more about base like try first of all, don't let them reap you. You have to
Yeah,
be
it's
aware
gonna
of
be
that.
about prevention at that point.
Yeah, you have to prevent it. But I think like controlling the collars and just pulling in, is a solid way to prevent a lot of like heel exposure. And I think that preventing people from actually extending away could be effective, but also not we talk about like how heel hooks could be more exciting if you add them in the gi. I think it actually could have the opposite effect if somebody is just holding, and then it could turn into like a kind of a stalemate type position. So I don't even know what that type of jiu-jitsu really looks like. We just don't see it enough. But yeah, I would like to play more heel hooks in the gi. It's just right now I don't really have a reason to do it because very few tournaments allow that. I think it should be allowed at black belt though. Would you say that like Dante is the guy who like taught you all of your leg lock chops, or who exactly helped you become the leg locker you are today?
Honestly, Dante got me really good at like inversions from reverse de la Hiva, wrestle ups, and like half guard passing. I would say the leg locks probably came from he helped with ankle locks for sure. The leg locks and the heel hooks though, just I do it like an absurd amount of film study, bro. I have a lot of film study that I do. I've
Mm-hmm.
watched, bro, the amount of instructionals. Oh my God, I basically dream in fucking Gordon Ryan's and fucking Donaher's voices, saying
Mm-hmm.
the same shit over and over. Like I've
Do you
seen,
watch do you watch Danaher on 1.5 or do you watch
I've
it normal
seen.
speed?
No, I watch a normal speed. Unfortunately, yeah. I've seen.
Wow,
Dude, I've literally
good
seen
for
like
you.
40 DVDs, man. I've seen like I've,
Yeah.
and I don't just watch them, man. I actually like I know some people that watch them like start to finish, like straight like real time studying like at least 40 DVDs at this point, bro. So many DVDs,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you. So that was kind of where I got like the leg locks and stuff. I would say Dante helped me with the reverse de la Hiva, the inversions and passing and wrestling stuff like that. The leg locks more so from like heel hook specifically, just from online study for sure.
Mm-hmm. Um, that's cool. I watch a lot of tapes too. I love those instructionals. And when you watch Danaher and Gordon talk about legs, they talk mostly about, they focus on double inside position, right? Like you had mentioned, most no-gi guys are hunting inside position. This is kind of like the fundamental leg lock blueprint, I guess. Ashigarami, X guard, that type of stuff to get to the legs. And your coach Dante, he is known for his reverse de la Hiva, right? And you had mentioned earlier that gi guys come from that background where they're playing de la Hiva, they're playing outside guards. What do you think is a better way to attack legs, inside positions or outside positions?
Um, this is going to depend for sure on this is going to depend on the type of person that you're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, if I'm fighting someone who's a very good loose passer, somebody who's like consistently on the outside and flanking and always trying to control my feet, then I would say outside entrances like K guard and stuff like this, they're going to hit much more often just because of the reactions that opponent's giving you. You're never going to really have opportunities to hook inside if they're consistently controlling your feet. And so when they're flanking, you'll see, for example, if you saw the match, Pato and Keith Krikorian. Krikorian wasn't very avid on staying very close to Pato or letting him get his feet inside at all, and he would try to flank pass. And anytime he would flank, immediately Pato would able to get to a leg through like a underhook grip and just go to K guard. And he did it like 6 or 7 times in the match, where he's able to enter the legs off of a K guard. So if they're a loose passer, generally I would say outside entrances are going to be good. If it's someone who likes to sit in a half guard or split squat or likes to body lock, stuff like this, you're going to have more success with inside entrances. So it's just depending on the style of passing you're going against for sure.
What type of guard passer gives you more trouble, or what would you say, like someone who runs around the outside or somebody who just
No,
settles in and tries to get chest to chest?
no, I don't think if someone's running around the outside a lot, I think I could do pretty good against that. I think someone who's got like just a really good base from like split squatting can flatten me out and flat half guard. Like if you can do, no, I shouldn't say that. I would say honestly, I don't. It when it comes to my guard retention, I feel like once I get a little bit tired, then like someone who can put some pressure and make me tired, I would say that it's not going to be one thing. Probably combining like
Yeah.
loose passing with with split squat passing and kind of like breaking me down there and eventually kind of making me like forcing me to maybe come up and wrestle up to defend a guard pass. You know what I'm saying? Or like coming up to like a front headlock position to stop a guard pass. Someone who can do something like that, that would be very effective. But like body lock, no way. I don't think body lock passing would never pass me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good at defending that. But when it comes to like guys who can like whittle me down and get to like a half guard or force me to like wrestle up, something like that, I would say. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird. It's weird when it comes to passing. Dude, when it comes to passing flexible guards, you kind of like, you're not going to pass them. You're never going to pass like a really flexible guard. Really, what the goal is, you got to kind of, what I've noticed is you got to force them into a dilemma of like, you're either going to give your back up to defend this guard pass or I'm just going to pass you. So what I mean by that, like, Dorian Oliveras is good at this. He consistently flanks and flanks and flanks, and he's still staying very close to you, and he'll even be tight, but he'll eventually force you to have to like turtle just so you retain your guard. So people who can force me to turtle, I would say, would fuck my guard up. That something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's constantly running around the outside, and he doesn't really do a lot of like well, it's a broad statement to say that he doesn't really do anything fancy because
No,
everything's
he doesn't.
concentrated.
He really. I don't think he
It's
does.
like duck under passing and north south passing. You know, like
Dude,
that's kind of the dilemma he
I'm pretty
poses.
sure I heard Don Donaher say that he doesn't want to teach Dorian like all these leg locks and stuff because it'll make him worse. Because I
Yeah,
think if
it'll
someone is
take
like,
him out of his element.
yeah, if someone's like a specialist in something, it'd be good for them to just focus on that. You know what I mean?
I actually had him as a dark horse for maybe winning ADCC last year, and then he lost first round. That was kind of a shocker to me against that
That was a
Russian
matchup,
fella.
bro. That's a matchup thing. That's a matchup thing. Your feet,
Just a
like,
style thing.
yeah, because literally he fought the one person who was gonna be able to match his wrestling, a fucking
Yeah.
Russian from Dagestan, bro. Like, come on, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the one guy who's gonna be able to hang with him on the feet and like be competent enough to put it into muddy waters and make it like a kind of a scrap. Whereas someone who's just like spamming guard attacks or just a balanced jiu-jitsu player is gonna struggle against Dorian ADCC rule set. So I think he got like the one matchup that was very good stylistically for a guard bag. Uh, Good match, honestly. Like Dorian still put the guy in trouble like a decent amount. He almost had his back a
Yeah.
couple times, but dude, a Russian, like, come on, Russian wrestler, like that's perfect. That's like the one style I think in that tournament that was really he was gonna struggle with, and we've seen that kind of how that went down.
Yeah. You compete under a lot of different rule sets. What rule set do you like better, IBJJF or ADCC?
I like ADCC more. Honestly, I like ADCC more just because IBJJF is, dude, especially when you get to the black belt level, especially everyone's gaming the rules so much,
Of
bro. It's
course.
really the only way you can win is if you understand the rule set. There's very like
That's true.
Even Gordon Ryan was almost lost multiple times in IBJJF just because the other people understood the rule set better than he did. So even if your jujitsu's way, way better than the other person, you're a lot of times you're gonna lose because you don't understand the rule set. For
Yeah.
me, I've
It's
been doing it for
it's
a
easier to
while.
get on the scoreboard in IBJJF, you know? You can like get on the
Yeah,
scoreboard and then
there's
it
a bunch of
almost
different things, bro. There's a lot of tiny little rules. That rule book is fucking fat, and if you
yeah.
go through it, there's a lot of little tiny things. Like people will be like, "Oh, they've made us stand up. I fucking took them down." Like they don't understand. Like if any little bit of you touches that yellow, like you know how it goes blue, yellow, blue.
Yeah.
That yellow boundary is like for a reason, man. Anything that happens in that yellow boundary is immediately it's moot. Okay, so you have to reset. So like,
Or outside of the boundary, you mean, right? Like past
no,
the
no, no,
yellow
no, 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 no,
boundary.
no. You hit the yellow, nothing. It's reset. Like let's say I take you down, right? I double leg you. Your
And we
back hits
land in the safety
in the
area?
yellow. No points. Reset on the feet. People don't
No, I
realize
don't think
this.
that's true. I think it's past the yellow.
I'm pulling it up.
Pull it
I'm
up.
pulling up. I'm
I
pulling
think if
up.
you land and finish within the safety area, it's still residual, so it
Within the
counts.
safety area, within the safety area is the blue. I'm telling you, bro. I'm
No, the
telling you.
yellow is the safety area. The mat is blue, and then
That's
out
what
of
I'm saying.
bounds is blue.
That's what I'm saying. No. Like you can't land. Like, bro, if you hit, I remember reading this. I remember
Pull
reading
it
this.
up.
I'm pulling it up because, like,
But I agree, the out of bounds shit, like it does cost a lot of people, and ADCC just doesn't have that. I like that
dude, there's
actually.
little rules in IBJJF people don't understand like that. I'm telling you that yellow mat thing is so like basically. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able
And
to find it.
another thing is just as a general culture of the two organizations, like IBJJF almost rewards stalling. It rewards passivity, whereas ADCC penalizes passivity. Like there's a real
Well, yeah,
contrast
the
in what
passivity
rewards.
thing for sure. Because, like, for example, if someone's stalling, right? Let's say I'm a guard player and someone's backing up, and then I move forward to attack him. There will never ever be a stalling call called, right? There's never going to be a penalty because I keep trying to engage with him. Like if he's backing up and I'm throwing my legs inside, I'm grabbing him, I'm trying to wrestle up. Very rarely are they going to call like a stalling call. Where in ADCC, it's fucking it's clear as day. They're backing up. They're backing up. They're backing up.
Yeah.
But basically, you have to you're going to get called very quickly. When IBJJF, if you want a stalling call to be called, the fucking guy who's a guard player literally has to sit there in their guard, not move at all, and then they can call a stalling call. Because if you're not
Mhm.
if the guy's not approaching the guard, they won't call a stalling call. But if you attack them, like the IBJJF rules, if you attack them, even if they're backing up and running away, technically you won't get a stalling call for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Um how do you uh, when you're training at ADAMAS, what is your class structure like? Like is it mostly live stuff? Do you guys static drill? What's your approach?
Um, so that depends if it's a kids class or adult class.
Oh, like adult class, like, you know,
Because I teach them
competitors and whatnot, like high level.
the competition class.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's three. Because we basically have the adult classes, we've got the competition class, and then we have the kids classes. We
I
run
mean,
them.
I assume competition class you guys are going pretty much all live. Like, you know,
No, not so
but
much.
tell me.
I would say we do drilling a lot, so a lot of rounds of drilling just to kind of basically whatever you're focusing on. Like, let's see,
Static drilling or like light
what do you mean
resistance type drilling? What
what do
kind
you
of
mean
drilling?
by what do you mean by
Like
static drilling?
is it drilling versus no resistance or is it drilling versus light reactions? Like
I don't think you
how
should. I think if you're drilling, actual drilling is going to have reactions. I don't
yeah.
think you're even drilling if you don't have reactions.
Right, right. You're not drilling against somebody who's just like there. Like it's not like, you
No,
know, drilling
that's
for
not drilling.
reps.
To me, that's not drilling. You have to like, it's because wrestlers know how to drill. Wrestlers have been drilling for a long time. Like, there's this whole
I
thing.
mean,
A
you
lot
can't be static when you're drilling wrestling. Like you can be static if you're on the ground. I mean like, you know,
well, you can
uh,
for sure. You could just stand there and let the guy double leg you. What I'm saying
I
is
guess so.
that I think people are just hating on drilling a lot because of the eco stuff.
Mhm.
However, there's a smart way to drill. Literally, if you look at high level wrestling and you just see the reactions they're giving, you just apply that to guard passing or leg locks or
Right.
submissions or sweeps. Just apply that, and that's actually good drilling. I don't think you like static drilling is not drilling to me. That's just nothing. It's nothing
Yeah.
at all. There's a way to drill. There's a way to drill, and I think the better you are at jujitsu, the more you can get out of drilling.
Mhm.
Like so we do a lot of rounds of those drilling, and then a bunch of positionals, like mostly positionals, man. Like
Yeah.
I would say, like really trying to stay in the positional. Like for example, if I were to start in single leg X, and let's just say that bottom player's goal is to like enter into the legs or to get a sweep on top, right? That's their goal. My goal is to kind of, uh, I would say the top player, like try to pass the guard, but for me, the way I approach it, if I'm starting a single leg X, and even if I like peel the legs and step out, I'm gonna go right back into a single leg X and let him attack me, just
Just
to see
maximize
how
your
long.
time in the pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Just you want to stay in the fire. You want to see how long you can stay in the fire, essentially. Or if I were doing a 50-50 positional, I wouldn't just separate the legs and drop my knee to the ground and fucking exit. You know what I'm saying? Because that happens. Guys will separate the legs, both drop the knee to the floor. Okay, well, now you're both out. Or I wouldn't
Yeah.
pass. If I'm starting 50-50, I wouldn't just pass the leg to the outside right away. I want to attack inside 50-50 attacks. So we do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of positionals like with that kind of mindset, like a lot of positionals like that. And then probably we'll just do one round, one live round. Like
I
from
guess
my block.
unless the constraint was targeted towards somebody who is trying to flee, in which case you could set the constraint that the top guy is trying to escape and the bottom guy's trying to like maintain control, you know, because players will play like that. A lot of guys will try to just like escape. They'll try and just rip their leg out as quick as they can. So you
No, it's
could
not
set
useful, man.
what's that?
It's not useful. Like if you did a front headlock positional, dude, you know how easy it would be in a front headlock positional to just grab a 2-on-1 with your hands on the bottom. You just grab a 2-on-1 and shrug your head out. You could get out in 5 seconds. It doesn't really do anything. So
But
if you're
don't you
doing
think
it,
guys will play like that?
uh,
Like opponents will do that shit. Like they'll
oh,
just
okay, I
try
know,
to
they'll do that, but that's not the point. So I would say like if you're doing a front headlock positional, right? If I'm on the bottom, it doesn't really serve my defense too much if I just get that first layer of defense where I'm just grabbing the hands and getting out immediately. I literally want someone to be like, okay, get me in like a fucking really deep guillotine and see if I can actually escape this and get back to
right.
that front headlock position. Okay, now the top person's gonna see that defensive reaction. All right, maybe I'll then shoot for an anaconda as they're squaring back up. Let's see if I can roll through and stay in this position and still survive. Okay, escape the anaconda. Now they're learning. Okay, the anaconda's not working right away. I'm switching to the dars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then now I know how to defend these three layers of attack. Like someone going from a guillotine to an anaconda to a dars in like 40 seconds instead of
Yeah.
just doing 2-on-1 and pulling my head out 20 times in fucking a minute. That's
Mm-hmm.
useless. That doesn't do anything. You Anyone can do that. It's like the deep defense that you really want because if you can be very confident in bad positions, then you're gonna be completely fine when it comes to competing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
Yeah.
if you have guys who are really specialists at positions. Like Nick Creighton, my teammate's a specialist at anaconda. Like he finishes a lot of fucking anacondas. He can finish me without even locking his hands. It's crazy, bro. Brad Schneider, specialist and the crucifix. You know what I'm saying? So I know going into matches, my front headlock and my crucifix, like if
Yeah.
forcing these guys to put me in bad positions there, I'm gonna be
And
fine.
not just like bad positions, but like deep submissions, right? Like you've spent
Deep
a
as
lot of
hell.
time.
Yeah,
You
deep as
spent a
hell.
lot of time. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure if you know who Josh Waitskin is. He's a black belt under Marcelo, and he's a world chess champion, and he's actually I think he's a world Tai Chi champion.
Yeah, I
He's
know,
got a
dude.
Yeah, he was just on Rogan. He's got a really good book called The Art of Learning, and he would talk about how Marcelo the major. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I said excuse me because I coughed. Sorry, bro.
Oh,
Keep
no
going.
worries. The majority of the training that Marcelo would do would not be like, okay, I'm going to get to a good position and just control someone. It would be he would try to maximize the time in the scramble. So he would basically let the guy move, but he would still try to like cut him off, you know? So he's like deep in scrambles constantly. And that really reflects with Marcelo Garcia's style because when you watch him, like nobody could out scramble him. And so he
Yeah,
would just like, and you would gain
makes sense.
amazing jujitsu cardio, I guess, training this way as well, rather than just like getting to a camping position or getting to chest position and holding. He's constantly moving. So, and I've heard Dima and Joseph talk about prioritizing certain training sessions around just getting your heart rate up, right? I just want to move as much as I can and get my heart rate up for this particular training session. So I believe sitting in the pocket in these games, you know, whether it's like that or like deep in submissions is definitely one of the best ways you can train.
Yeah, you definitely have to do that. You just gotta be
So,
you gotta be
yep,
okay with it, bro. Problem is, guys don't like getting tapped in training, or man, I let a white belt tap me. I don't care. Nothing's on the
yeah,
line.
for
Sorry,
sure.
but were you gonna say something?
No, well, I kind of wanted to shift towards like the competitions that you've done recently. So obviously, you know, you were competing at PGF, and then and you were competing ADCC, and then most recently Sapateiro for $100,000. I just want to ask you, like, as a competitor, sort of your mindset when you know that you're going into a tournament for $100,000, because that's pretty, that's a substantial amount of money. Does your training change when compared to like other tournaments, or that's irrelevant? You just train the same way for just what's your
Um,
approach to competition?
the only thing that'll change the training is just the rule set that I'm doing. Because all
Mhm.
that, like I said, like if you're doing an IBJJF tournament and you fight like you're in ADCC, you're gonna lose. If you
Yep,
do an EBI
100%.
tournament and you fight like you're in IBJJF, you're gonna lose. So
Mhm.
the problem with jiu-jitsu is there's all these rule sets, a lot of different rule sets. Honestly, you'll see stuff like who's number one sub only is gonna be, you're gonna have vastly different results in something like that compared to IBJJF. Same IBJJF to ADCC. You can keep going, right? Like someone like Pato, he's going to be very difficult to ever beat in a who's number one sub only match because he can
Yes.
just full guard and throw up submissions. And he really doesn't
Nobody
have to
can
do,
pass him.
yeah, and he doesn't have to do anything besides that. So if he is forced into an ADCC rule set, we all saw he can't, be as good as he is who's number one because the rule set changed. The parameters of your specialties not going to help you as much, right? Like it's not going to help you as much. So really, if I'm, the only thing that changes is like my goal setting and like a few different positionals, right? Like if I'm have an IBJJF tournament coming up, any positional I'm in, any live role I'm in, the whole time I'm thinking, did I just score an advantage? Did they score an advantage?
Yeah.
Did I score a point here? Did they score a point? ADCC, it's a lot simpler because it's harder to score points,
Yeah.
and really, there's only a few ways to do it. So there's only like if you focus on turtle, front headlock, scrimmage wrestling,
Yeah.
and using leg locks to sweep, kind of condense it to that, you're gonna be good. Whereas IBJJF, honestly, you're gonna have to do more because there's so many different freaking ways that things can happen for sure.
Do you think it's easier to understand the IBJJF rule set or the ADCC rule set?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
Like, what rule set do you think is easier to understand, IBJJF or ADCC?
Uh, ADCC. Dude,
You know,
IBJJF has a lot of vague rules. A lot of vague rules. It's weird. If
I agree. I think the ADCC rule set is simpler. Maybe I'm looking at it through a lens of I kind of have known and played to the IBJJF rule set longer, so therefore I am more familiar with it, and I've refed IBJJF tournaments, but not uh, or IBJJF rule set tournaments. But man, there are situations in ADCC where I do have to scratch my head, and I'm like, oh, that is a super gray area. And again, maybe it's because I'm not as familiar. Like I try to educate myself as much as I can. I still feel like I really understand ADCC, obviously, but there are still situations that are really, really gray. IBJJF, I feel like I understand through and through more. But I believe ADCC is a simpler game. No advantages and no
yeah,
penalties and things like that. But like classic example was like the scrimmage that Gordon had with Pena, where Pena was scrambling to his back, and then Gordon ended up getting on top. Like that, a lot of people were saying that shouldn't have been 2 points for Gordon or whatever. But if you know the rule set, it is 2 points, right? In an
yeah,
IBJJF situation, I don't know. Is that scored the same way? Do you remember the scramble that I'm talking about? I believe it was a.
yeah. Gordon won
Uh,
that scramble. Gordon won that
he just
scramble.
ended up on top, right?
That honestly, that wasn't even like that controversial in my opinion. Where for ADCC, there's a lot of matches that have controversial points. Though I think the biggest problem with them is the judges. Dude, they are very prideful about their rule set, and so
You're
it's a
talking about
really,
IBJJF, right?
no, I'm talking about ADCC, bro.
Mm,
Basically, Yeah, I can talk to. I know there's a stigma. I'd be like, oh, the Brazilians, they don't give a fuck about the gringos. But honestly, I can talk to an IBJJF ref and ask about a position, and they can actually give me an answer. Whereas ADCC, dude, I know for I could give a bunch of match examples where points were given for absolutely no reason, and you could go and ask that judge, and they'd probably pop off on you and just be like, "Fuck off," essentially, and not
Really,
give
I've
you an
had the
explanation.
opposite. I've had the opposite effect. I mean, IBJJF, you're not even supposed to talk to the referees, right? Whereas in ADCC, you can protest and you can talk to them, and even at ADCC
Well,
opens, you can like show them your phone footage, and they'll like reverse the call sometimes.
it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not. It's not consistent. That's crazy because that's not consistent. IBJJF, you shouldn't talk to them during the match. 100%. That's not a good idea. I don't think you should during an ADC. That's my opinion. That you shouldn't talk to the ref at ADCC. But for example, bro, Jet Thompson versus Gavin Corby at the Sapateiro 100K. That was not 2 points. It was not 2 points. By the rule set, 100% not 2 points. And they'll never like. I see like sometimes they'll go back and take off points, and sometimes they'll give points. But I don't think the judges will ever admit they messed up that call. I don't know if you've seen that match, but it was weird, bro. They just basically gave Gavin Corby 2 points, and I feel bad for Jet because I know Jet personally. I train with him. He trains
And it
very
wasn't
hard.
too.
It wasn't two, and I remember also when Dante fought Mika in
Yeah,
ADCC,
that was
they
bullshit.
took 2 point like it so
That was like
after
right
so
before the
long.
match ended.
Yeah, after so long, you take the points away. Well, what the fuck? He's gonna be fighting different.
100%. How long did he
Stuff like this.
fight? Like,
And
when
I'm
did
not
he
saying
get those points? It
IBJJF
was
fucks
like a
up.
minute.
Yeah, dude, it was more than that. It was longer than that. It was like
Yeah,
2 or 3. No, it was like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, honestly.
that was fucking
IBJJ and
bullshit.
IBJJF fucks up. IBJJF does fuck up a lot, but there is a lack of they're like I don't even know if they're fucking up, but it's just that their rules are kind of bullshit. But at least they write down the bullshit, and you can actually go and look and be like, oh, okay, that is actually just a dumb rule. Like I don't know, I forget the match, but somebody like Tyna Dalper like underhooked someone's leg,
Oh yeah,
and
the
the dude got
Francisco Lowe
yeah,
who
yeah,
gets
and then they
DQ'd.
DQ. That's in the rules. Is it a dumb rule? Yeah, but it is in the rules. It is some bullshit. With ADCC, like it's not. There's not like a written rule book, man. They like print out like a page with a lot of arbitrary things, and like sometimes they change shit, and that's my only thing with it. It's just like I do like the ADCC rule set more, and I think it's easier to understand. It's just sometimes I don't know. There's just a lack of consistency sometimes. That's my thing. That's my big thing.
Hmm. I agree. I find though that IBJJF, like, unless it's like certain black belt matches, usually is just one referee. Whereas
Yeah.
ADCC has two table judges, right? And I find the more eyes on it, for me and my experiences, generally I think a better call is rendered when there's multiple people watching, as opposed to
Yeah.
having all the pressure on one person, and like
IBJJF
that
does a
one.
good job with that in like the finals and stuff. Like where
Yeah,
they have a
that's
bunch
when
of
they bring it
and they're
out.
like call. Also, I need a fact check, bro. So when 2/3 of the athlete's body, like basically like has gone into the safety area, they reset in the center of the match. I have
If
this
you
in the
do
rule
it,
book.
if you do a takedown
So if
and
2/3 of you
it
lands in that
starts
yellow,
it starts inbound, but then it scrambles and finishes into the yellow,
you
that
won't get
counts.
points. No, you won't get points, bro. I'm telling
Man,
you.
I gotta,
Like,
I better do some
ask one of those
studying
refs,
before I
bro.
referee.
Ask one of those refs, bro. Dude, like I don't know, man. I don't know. This is the rule book. If 2/3 of you goes outside the combat area, so that would technically be the safety zone, you wouldn't get points. I remember a specific match with this when Dante fought. What the hell is the guy's name? Bro, Dante's lost him a couple times. That big Jack Brazilian. I know that doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah,
that
so you'll have to
doesn't.
narrow that
Yeah,
down.
that doesn't narrow it down at all. But dude, oh fuck. He got in a front headlock, right? He got in a front headlock, and then he did a short redrag. It was the finals of Worlds, and he like took him down into the yellow, and the ref just put him back in the middle, and they didn't give him any advantage, no points. I think Dante even like he kind of messed up with this, but he like did like an advantage sign to the ref. He's like, no advantage. And then they gave Dante
Penalty.
two penalties. They gave him two penalties.
Like
And,
that's fucking
then that's the
ridiculous in
match.
my
That was
opinion.
the match at that point. It was like, all right, it's over now. They
So
just
they gave him a
gave.
penalty for saying words and a penalty for making a gesture.
Bro, this ref was a dick. It is what it is. That ref was a cunt. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, that's a little bit ridiculous. I mean, like that's why like I have teammates that are like, man, let's go do like Jiu-Jitsu Con this year. Let's go do like Masters Worlds. And I'm thinking like I'm gonna fly to Vegas, which I hate, and I get there and like I'd say it happens less at Black Belt, but you could just be robbed on like a dumb call, you know,
Oh
and
yeah, for sure.
you spend like thousands of dollars to go to do this tournament that like I don't know, to me it doesn't really mean much, and fucking they blow a call and your whole experience is ruined. Like I've had students like that, and it's really disappointing when that happens, right? um yeah, so let's talk about false reaps, because you are a good leg locker and I've seen you do false reaps in matches. False reaps are something that I don't really look for. I find it kind of difficult. Like I find it not hard to get to the false reap position, but against a good guy, once I get there, he knows kind of what I want to do, right? He knows
Yeah,
that I want to spin through and catch the heel. So I
that's right.
find it quite difficult to actually get heel exposure. You know, like a good example would be, I guess, Craig Jones entering a false reap on Marigali, and Marigali spins out and clears. It was a sick entry, like a K guard false reap dilemma. I've tried to replicate that in the gym, and I find it not the easiest thing to do. But my question to you was, how do you maximize your finishing rate after getting the false reap?
So you should look up Pawel Jaworski. He came down and trained with us for a week, and essentially, I think the way he does the false reaps is the best out of anyone in the world right now.
Wow.
So the reason that makes it so good is he enters it from outside De La Hiva, but that's not really what makes it good. What makes it good is when he initially enters, and he said he took this from, who did he say he took it from? I think Owen O'Flanagan or something.
Yeah.
He does this, and Taylor Pearman. They both do this. When you're,
What's it called?
Taylor Pearman.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
Perlman.
took he basically took this idea from both of them where when you're entering in the false reap, he dude, he has a whole system down. It's gonna be hard for me to break it down, but basically, like
I'm autistic. Just
once
give
this
me your
arm
best
is
shot.
in, once this like arm is in, you're wrapped up. Like he basically will go for this. He won't think about inverting through. He doesn't do that very often. He actually wants to collect the second leg, so he goes around the second leg and he'll connect like an S grip around both legs. Well, with that leg weaved over and through the top, and that way he can knock you down to your butt while still having both legs, and then just backstep into cross ashy, and you end up in double trouble. That way they can't just spin out. I think it's like the
So he
best way. But
collects the secondary leg instead
yeah,
of inverting. I assume
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
position though, he's still inverting somewhat to clear his bottom leg,
You
is he not?
you don't need to. You don't even need. I mean, he can. He definitely can. He's flexible as hell. But basically, he'll go deep in with like, let's say that leg's in front of me at wrap, and then your second arm is just gonna go over top like really high, and you can connect an S grip. And when you connect that S grip and you just extend the leg that's weaved through, dude, people will fall right to their butt. And so all you have to do, you can just put your head on the floor and you backstep into cross ashy as you're connecting your hands. If you watch his just watch his matches at IBJJF Worlds. He beat Dorian Oliveras. He beat all this sorts of people. He got double gold for sure. Study up a bunch of matches on him because he just false sweeped everybody, bro. Just like this, he would enter from the De La Hiva and then wrap them up with both. He would have both legs before he even spun through or knocked them to a butt. And for me, ever since I added this to my game, it's made the before I had given up on false sweep because I would punch the arm through, and guys would already know it's coming, and they would cook me from that
Yeah.
position. I couldn't
Yeah.
recover. Like I couldn't take the leg out anymore, and then I was just getting smashed. So when I started doing it this way, from Paul's way, this was very effective. So I would definitely do it like this.
What's
He's
his
very
name?
Powell, so Pawel, and then Jaworski, so Jaworski, I think.
Sounds like a Polish guy.
Yeah, he's from Poland. He flew in from Poland to train with us. He's very, very
Sick.
good at leg locks, man. He's very more
Black belt,
people.
obviously, right?
I think he just got. He might have just got it because he got double gold at Brown Belt Worlds No Gi,
Okay.
and then he came and trained with us after this. So I was like, all right, this guy's pretty good. I think you're gonna see more of him for sure because he's only 20, bro. He's gonna be very good. He's very dude. This entrance is sick, man. That he has a whole system down for sure. It's very, very cool. It made my fall sweep. Like, dude, I literally gave up on the fall sweep until I trained with him a few months ago. And I was like, oh shit, he made it fucking fall sweep great again. Let's go.
Make fall sweep great again. Yeah, I mean that was a move. Like I have a student who constantly does the fall sweep. He does have like a size length advantage on me. So when he sticks his leg through, it's like it's really long, and he jams his arm through, and he just constantly looks for it every time I enter the split squat position. Does this Pawel Jaworski guy have instructionals at all, or just match footage?
No, bro. I don't think he does have instructional. It's just match footage. He kind of just he came when he came here. We kind of just learned it from him. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's good, bro. It's good stuff. I would connect. Like it's sick. If you watch the brown belt his run at brown belt worlds, you'll see some of the entrances. They're very sick. They're very sick.
Nice.
But he
Well,
enters from outside De La Hiva is the thing, bro. So think about that. That's a weird thing. So he'll be an outside De La Hiva and he'll like scissor his fucking legs so that your back leg back steps, and then he'll like reach in for the back leg first.
you're
So that
talking about
you're
like an R guard?
yeah, R guard. So he'll R guard and he'll scissor the legs so that your back leg back steps because you're off balance, and then he'll
Yeah.
reach in and get that back leg. And since his left hand is already on that front foot, he just raises it up, connects an S grip, and now he's got both your legs, tips you over, and you're cooked, bro.
And he's S gripping. He's S gripping on. Excuse me. He's S gripping around the knee of the far leg or the ankle of the far leg.
You kind of want to go above the knee so you can pinch the legs together. If you get the
Okay.
ankle, sometimes the guys are tall, so you have to just grab the ankle. But
Yeah.
the idea works. Like if you can just knock them through their butt, that way, because the spinning under can be so difficult.
Yeah, no, that's why I kind of gave up on it. I'm like, man, it's not
This
the
this
easiest
way,
thing to
dude,
do, and they know it's coming, you know? Like I
this
find
one's
even
good.
when guys false read me in the traditional way, they can get a good connection, they can invert underneath, but as long as I'm rotating faster, I can kind of clear my knee line, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I think it's almost the first way that I learned it. I think it's better to just use it to wrestle up because
Oh yeah,
they're gonna
that's a good.
they're turning away, right? They have to.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Um,
good option. This way though, man, you get both their legs. It's good shit.
I'm definitely gonna
Definitely.
look into that.
Yeah,
Paul Jaworski. Thank
yeah,
you.
he's good, man.
Um, how do you like to we got about 10 minutes here. How do you like to warm up for competition? Like what is your warm up sort of game day ritual? What does that look like?
Fucking. I mean, when I wake up, probably eat some like lean meat and a fuck ton of rice cakes, honey. Probably do that, like probably like 10 rice cakes just to kind of carb up. But honestly, I fucking honestly, I'm just kind of chilling before competition. I don't try to hype myself up too much anymore because I feel like I don't know. I worked with a sports therapist for a long time and I try all these different things.
Like a sports psychology therapist?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I did a lot of sessions with him and he helped me out and I kind of like gave me a lot of techniques to work with him in my head, like if I'm getting nervous or I'm just not feeling it that day. So now that I'm so used to doing that after so many competitions, like I feel very chill now when I'm just competing. Like I could be playing on my phone. I play Clash Royale on my fucking phone for a minute before I go and compete for sure. Like
What do you
I just sorry, what's up?
I was just gonna say, like, what does this person tell you to do when you're nervous?
Oh, there's a bunch of different things and it's kind of all dependent on the kind of nerves you're feeling. Like, are you feeling nervous because like you're starting to think about, let's say I started to think about how good someone is at leg locks, right? So your mind's basically a spotlight. So if all you're doing is thinking about like I can't get leg locked by this guy. I can't enter into his legs. Well, this is exactly what's going to happen because your mind's just focusing on that. It's only focusing on the leg lock position with that specific person. Whereas you could change that thought, and as soon as you think, man, this guy's got really good leg locks, you can tell yourself something like, you have to combat that thought right away and be like, well, my leg locks are much better, or I've beaten better leg lockers, or, like I can tap anyone from the legs. You have to combat that thought right away. And if you're feeling, or like, let's just say, there's so many different things we've gone over because I've worked with the guy for a long time. There's a lot of different techniques, but that was just one example. There's another, like, if you're feeling like, if you're not really thinking about the turn at all and your mind's like wandering, there's techniques to like pick out things in the crowd and the setting in the area to kind of ground you before every match. When I walk on that mat, for example, this could be different for anybody, but I pinch my nose for a bit and I wipe my feet on the mat, and I do that before every single match so that I know, okay, this is my time to compete.
Like a
I,
trigger?
yeah, like a trigger, like GSP, for example, when he would fight, he would pinch his nipples. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Yeah, you do the whole nipple
Yeah.
pinch, and that was because, yeah, that was his trigger. Like he talked about it basically. It's just it's a random thing that you wouldn't normally do. That like kind of like who the fuck pinches their nipples? So when you do that, you're like, oh, what's happening? Oh yeah, that's right, I'm fighting. So for me, when I pinch my nose, usually I would never pinch my nose just randomly, and then so if I do that, I'm like, oh okay, I'm fighting. So that's an example. A bunch of journaling stuff I've done, like.
You keep a journal?
Oh yeah, it's like the fucking movie Seven, bro. I have like a fucking wall of journals.
One of the best movies of all time, honestly.
Yeah, great movie, great movie. Yeah, I gotta. Journals are. I think it's important for any competitor for sure. Should be
Like,
right.
are you journaling like how the tournament went today, what you would change, what went well, type
Oh,
stuff?
for a tournament, I'll always have a day before and a day after to see where my
Mhm.
mind was the day before and see how I'm feeling the day after. And that way, I also have a record of just how my mind evolves throughout these competitions and what's consistent, what's not. You know what I'm saying? Or oh shit, god damn, not
All
bad.
good.
But yeah, stuff like that, or journaling, just like how training went, or where my mind's at the week of or the month before. Just a bunch of different stuff that you can work on.
Do you
But yeah,
do you bother getting warm, or is it like mostly a mental thing? Do you do
yeah,
you get your body warm at all?
you should get warm. Yeah, you should get a little bit warm. I would say, just a
What do you
little
like to
bit.
do?
Just a little bit. I mean, the fucking hard hand fighting will get your heart rate up. I don't think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. It changes every time for me. I could go out and sprint. I could just fucking do burpees or something, or maybe I'll just drill passing hard, or maybe I'll just drill a bunch of leg lock entrances. Anything that's just gonna get my heart rate up a little bit, I think is enough for me. I never want to be too specific with it because I don't want to be too uptight. I want to be like, I have to do this. I must do this. I must do this before the tournament. Like all these different
Mhm.
things because things usually don't go as planned. So you should kind of just be adaptable, kind of have a general thing that you're gonna go for. That way you're not stressing out too much. Like I gotta fucking get my 36 jumping jacks in before I fight. Like stuff like this is gonna stress you out more than it's gonna help you.
So relaxation and sort of chilling out is kind of the best
Yeah,
way to
just
do
being
things.
present, man.
Yep.
Being very, very present. And again, the biggest thing is like if you have the negative thoughts and stuff, having that's the hardest thing to combat. Because for me, I'd be pacing back and forth, having these negative thoughts before I started to work on my mental game. Now, dude, these negative thoughts don't even come. Like it's because I'm so used to this. The millisecond they pop in my head, I already have like a fucking a counter to it.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before. Like have a counter to your negative thought or combat it right away.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
good.
Because your brain it can only just, bro, it's just, it is a spotlight. It's just going to see that thought pop up. And so you need to give it something else to think about. It's like a pink elephant. It's like saying, don't think about the pink elephant. Don't think about the pink elephant. Shit like this.
Yeah.
Or let's say, I have to win. I have to win. I have to win.
Yeah.
I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't lose. Both those thoughts, not so good. Because you're just thinking about a result. You think you have to win.
Yes.
So you're gonna really limit yourself, and you're saying I can't lose. Now all you're thinking about is losing. You should think about something like like for me, I just want to think about if I'm getting thoughts like that, I just start about think about the things I'm gonna hit in the tournament. How am I gonna score points? I'm gonna score points with this sweep. I'm gonna score points with this pass. I'm gonna score points with this move or that move. I'm thinking all the different ways that you basically are gonna score points or submit. That way, that's all my brain's thinking about. It's just thinking about me having success. It's not really thinking about winning or losing, but more so me thinking like the shit I'm gonna actually do and land.
Right.
Because winning and losing, that's very broad. It's very broad. So like, really, you're only getting stressed out. You don't have any kind of plan in your head.
Awesome. What's next for you, or can you even talk about it? I don't know. What's your
Okay,
next plan for competition?
I got I'm gonna do this 3v3 tournament in Nashville, and then I'm gonna do ADCC Montreal, and then I'm gonna do, I would say, this 150-pound $5,000 bracket in Florida, Sapateiro, in May 3rd.
What's
And then
3v3? Is it like a quintet thing?
yeah, it's kind of like a quintet. I gotta look into the rules more. Honestly, shit, I gotta know because I think yeah, it's something like this, something like that. Hopefully, I kind of hopped in
Sweet.
it for fun, just to stay warm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Where can people find you?
Find me at Max Hanson BJJ on Instagram. And if you're ever interested in my techniques or my match breakdowns, I've got hours upon hours of footage on my Patreon, so you can check that out. Link is in
Nice.
my
And
Instagram bio.
yeah, I'm not a subscriber to your Patreon, but I've seen your Instagram, and the way you break down matches is very good. I've learned a lot from just watching your breakdown. So maybe
That's
I mean,
awesome.
that's a discussion for another time. I love match breakdowns and kind of how you can get better at the skill of breaking down matches. So I definitely recommend people to check your stuff out. That's all I got for you, Max. Thank you so much for your time. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Oh, I'm good to go, man. Thanks for having me.
That was a real pleasure. Thanks for your time, guys. Please check out the links in the bottom if you want to. If you want to support the show, like, share, subscribe, leave a review, all that good stuff. Everyday Jiu Jitsu podcast is everything you need to know about Jiu Jitsu. Take care. Bye.